episode. I've been waiting to record since December of last year. And then in January, when we did the 2026 astrology EP, I just thought, all right, let's get Saturn done, let's get Neptune done, let's fly through Uranus, talk about Pluto a little bit, but let's get to Jupiter. Mr. Big, Mr. Sagittarius himself, moving into a super fun sign. Listen, don't get me wrong, Jupiter in Cancer was sweet. It was fun. I enjoyed its transit through my third house. I was blessed with amazing neighbors here on Twin Moon Ranch, but I'm ready for some Leo. July 1st, 2026, or June 30th, depending on where you live. But July 1st, 2026 to July 26th, 2027, that's a lot of 26s. The sign Leo gets exaggerated and expanded. The truth of all these leaders, the truth of egotistical people, the truth of where we've been playing small, not expressing what we really feel in our heart. All of this gets exposed. Jupiter says, surprise, I'm going to have this really big gender reveal of your truth. New leaders emerge. Amazing, amazing transit for arts and entertainment. I suspect, even though I know the dawn of, or not the dawn, we are in it. The day of AI is fully here, and we say what we want to say about music and books. And honestly, as a budding novelist and someone who loves music, diehard music fan, I'm scared too. I'm trying to blend in some AI with my normal everyday listening, but I get it. I totally get it. Jupiter and Leo may actually expand a lot of artists on YouTube. I can see a lot of people come up and coming, YouTubers, podcasters, the right people getting the microphone, exposure of people who should not have a microphone or should not be filming themselves. There could be a lot of drama with celebrities in the arts, drama in Hollywood, drama in DC. I mean, it's about to get spicy. You know, just keep expressing your truth, your heart. Go after what you love. Be proud of what you love, but also very humble. Don't get too over the top of this one, and you will just enjoy the show. The World Cup, I literally don't even know what sport. Is it soccer? Football? I don't even know. I brush shoulders with it, but I hear that it's really amazing and that it's bringing people together. I hear that a lot of people are coming to America for the World Cup and going, wait, this place is totally not what our media taught us it was. Listen, guilty as charged. Growing up in the north near Boston, New York City, and now living in Texas, the first year I lived here, I would constantly look at Mr. Virgo and be like, people actually wear cowboy boots. Like they're not joke. Like they're not going to like a Halloween party or like a costume party. And he would just laugh like, dude, no, you need to. And just wait until you find out why you have to wear cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. The World Cup bringing people together, excitement, celebration. We see it in the streets. I think that is so the Jupiter and Leo's, come on, do you see it? Here it is. We're coming together through sports, through entertainment, through song. God, there's nothing like going to a great concert and just music and everyone singing it at the same time. You're in union. You are not worried about who someone voted for, what their gender is, what their sexual preference is, what their past traumas are. You don't care about any of that. You're just looking to your left, looking to your right, and you're like, I got to keep up with the beat and the melody. It's so beautiful. And that's what I see for Jupiter and Leo. Now, of course, I'm a Sag. I'm being optimistic with my interpretation of this transit, but I'm a Scorpio moon. And so I want to go there and preface this episode with telling you guys that sometimes with Jupiter transits, they're tough. Just like when I was barking about the Jupiter conjunct Venus in Cancer transit a couple weeks ago, and then I asked you guys, how was it? And of the audience I polled, they were like, it was either just a really regular day or it was actually kind of tough. So I don't want to gloss over anyone listening to this whose life may not be in a peak. It might be in a valley. It might be hard. You may feel confused, lost, sad, burnt out, and I want to honor that feeling without spiritually bypassing it or using astrology to gaslight you and say, well, something's broken in you because Jupiter's in Leo and you should be doing cartwheels in your backyard. You know what I mean? I want to honor that. So while I explain what this transit means, I want to go back and forth between the empowered side of it and the disempowered side of it. Leo is drama. Whenever I see a progressed moon entering Leo, or especially, no matter what sign it's in, if a progressed moon moves into the 5th house, there's some stuff that comes up. So while Leo is fun and sunshine, what happens if you stay outside under the sun all day, drinking, partying, and you forget to wear a hat or put on sunscreen or drink water? You feel like absolute shit at the end of the day. Your skin is blistered. You're dehydrated. You look like crap. You feel like crap. And it affects you for days to come. It was like, whoa, that was too much. Too much of anything is not so good. So Jupiter moving into Leo is we are so excited and expanded and dancing that we forget to put on sunscreen. We forget to hydrate and drink our electrolytes. Just don't forget to do that. And genuinely, this transit could be absolutely amazing. Shout out to Leo suns. Where my dramatic Leo moons at. I love your theatrics and my Leo risings. I can't wait for Jupiter to expand your sense of self and have this blessed every 14-year new beginning for you guys. This is amazing. So let's go. You guys know the housekeeping. Let's just cut right through it. Astrology-lounge.com for more ways to work with me, more ways to learn astrology off of the airwaves. And we got something new. We have a wait list. Bum, 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 bum. The number one requested thing. Steph, can I get on a wait list? You no longer have to live in 1998. And find my email me and say, hey, can I get on the wait list for your next open spot? Because I really don't want to pay that much money to see you 4 months from now. I totally get it, guys. I do. I get it. But it secures your spot. You can get a refund all the way up to 24 hours before we meet, because I know life is life. I want to make it flexible for us all. But now we have a wait list. And so if you don't want to book a reading yet, but you want to just see if one will pop up, go get on that wait list. You can add your phone number to it. We will immediately text you as soon as a spot between a time frame that you pick pops open. Snag your spot, get on in there, and I'll see you on Zoom with my beverage of choice. Right now, it's probably electrolytes because I'm sweating so much on the ranch, but I love it. And I always drop right into my heart when I think about readings with you guys, because it is so fun to meet you, to feel you, because since I started this podcast in 2018, that's why it's called a lounge. It was Lightworkers Lounge. Now it's the Astrology Lounge. The word lounge is a gathering. It's comfortable. It's easy. There's no performing. There's no you have to dress a certain way. It's just like, hey, let's chill and talk about something cool, not judge each other. Period. And I feel that. And so when I get the pleasure of meeting you guys on Zoom and talking astrology, it's like, what? This is my life? This is incredible. You guys are such a smart group of people. You guys are so accomplished and successful. Every time I meet you guys, I fangirl over you. When I'm like, but you've done what? This is you made it through that? You left a relationship under those circumstances and you're still here looking gorgeous? Oh my gosh. I love your stories. I absolutely love them. And it's such a Scorpio moon compliment that you guys trust me. You know, this girl you listen to on the internet, you trust me so much to share such vulnerable life stories with me. And it's your sacred space. And my Scorpio moon is like, come here. I'll put my black angel wings around you and it'll be our secret little cave. And as soon as we leave Zoom, everything's password protected. No one will ever see it. It's just you and me. So we deepen our bond off the airwaves. It's so fun. I adore you guys, and I'm working my butt off every day to either host a retreat where we can all just gather, a group of us, or, of course, the Airbnbs, which that is number one priority right now. But I'm still kind of weaving away in, because if you come see the Airbnbs, what if I'm booked and busy doing readings and I can't come say hi to you? You know, so we're ironing out logistics there, but we're going to make a space where we'll always stay connected through the podcast. But if you want to come do some in-person stuff, it is going to happen. Mr. Virgo, who has a massive Virgo stellium in his second house, to translate that into English, he has every single planet in Virgo squished into house number 2, which is the Taurus house. Food, land, finances. This man can cook. This man can make a mocktail that is off the charts. He's so sweet. Whenever he cooks for me, he'll make my plate so beautiful. I am such a sloppy cook. I make a mess in the kitchen. I make a mess in the kitchen. Everything is slapped onto a plate. He's like, nope, I'm going to scoop our rice in a measuring cup, and then I'll plop it on the plate so it's this perfect spherical thing of white rice. I'm like, that is so beautiful. This is my Taurus rising, just spoons it into my mouth. Anyways, he's talked about cooking for you guys. He's like, oh, if everyone comes here, then I can like give them a little menu of 3 options and cook for them. I was like, you're gorgeous and you cook. Yes, they would love that. So we got lots of stuff going on over here. I know you guys love to ask about it when we book readings, but building, creating, it's such a slow burn. I wish I had endless amounts of money and I could just buy like prefabbed Airbnbs. Maybe I will. You never know. You never know what Jupiter in my 4th house of land, development, Airbnbs, homes just might do. So by the way, stay tuned for the horoscopes. I knew I would talk your ear off in this one, so I will put that episode out hopefully by tomorrow as you listen to this. Wednesday looks better, but it might be Thursday because I really want to dive deep into the Jupiter horoscopes. Because after this, guys, my 2026 transits folder, I think this is it. We've got the North Node and the South Node officially about to move into Aquarius and Leo. Leos, you guys got lots of activity going on. Goodness sake. I mean, Aquarius too. You got Pluto sitting on you. But that's it. 2026 transits was Neptune into Aries, Saturn into Aries, Uranus into Gemini, Chiron into Taurus, North Node and South Node switching from Virgo and Pisces. Oh, you guys are off the block. Moving into Aquarius and Leo, and then Jupiter moving into Leo. And that's all I got on my laminated handwritten marker. This is it. This is like, the year's over. Now we just kind of coast. It's almost like we were going up the roller coaster of change of 2026. And then by the end of July, once this is all settled, whew, I think I've used the roller coaster analogy before, but it's just like we've gained enough traction and speed and change. And now hopefully with all these changes, it's just going to until we eventually reach our destination, which is hopefully a safe station to get off of this roller coaster. But genuinely, that Barbo's basket we talked about in the last episode, I don't know. I can use astrology to guess. But at this point, I'm just saying, hey guys, the weather forecast for July looks like all of us saying, the weather's never like this. It's never this hot during winter. It's never this cold and windy during July. I don't know. Something strange, weird, never before seen. That's where I'm going to leave it at. Jupiter and Leo, though, it's bringing the drama. Life is meant to be lived and enjoyed, not just survived. I think that's like the phrase I would give Jupiter and Leo. Jupiter was just in Cancer. We were tuned into our emotions, feeling safe at home, feeling safe within ourselves, realizing all the things about the spectrum of emotions, which ones we need a little TLC, which ones we need to alter our beliefs in. The gift of Jupiter in Cancer is also recognizing where we're repeating family patterns that we would like to change. Looking at the lineage, looking at the roots. It's a very internal transit. It can be beautiful. I know a lot of you have purchased land, inherited land or money. These are all Jupiter and Cancer themes. Welcomed a family member. It's so cool. Whenever I work with you guys and we predict pregnancy, and my favorite is when I do it for you guys. I'm like, hey, are you thinking of having kids? And you're like, I don't think so. I mean, if it happens, whatever, but no, I'm not going after it. And then it happens, and you send me ultrasounds. Ugh, the best. Or I love getting engagement photos, too. Because for some of you, I'll read your charts and be like, oh, listen, I know I sound like a woo-woo-wah-wah rubbing my crystal ball, but I think you're going to get engaged next July. And you look at me like, I want my money back. This girl's crazy. And then come August, you're like, okay, I don't want my money back. Because look at this ring I got. And I'm like, astrology, it's not something you believe, it's something you experience, and you guys sharing your experiences with me is truly why I continuously just show up, because it's so cool to see. So thank you guys. Jupiter and Leo, life is meant to be enjoyed, not just survived, not just processing emotions, not just, all right, what's the next life lesson? What's the next responsibility? No, we got to find time for fun. We got to tap into our inner child. And it doesn't have to be spending all this money to go on some extravagant trip or buying all these things. It could simply be, you know what, my routine is usually this. But I'm going to play the speaker while I'm in the shower. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. You know what? Instead of just jumping up and running into my morning routine, I'm going to go for a walk. Like just a little 5 minutes. I'm just going to walk somewhere new and look at new things. Look at the sun. Find little ways to sneak fun sunlight into your daily routine, and watch by the end of this transit where you feel lit up. Okay, drink my smoothie. You know what we do around here. We break things down. Let's make it simple. Let's talk about what Jupiter is, and then let's talk about what Leo means. And then I'm going to get into a little bit of the aspects, how Jupiter's going to play with the current skies configurations, like that Neptune in Aries, that Saturn in Aries, Uranus and Gemini, how it might influence those things. So Jupiter in Leo is one of those transits. It happens once every 12 to 14 years. That just feels bigger, confident, creative, optimistic. Everyone wants to remember that life is meant to be lived, not just survived. That's the only word I can think of, survived, pushed through. So what is Jupiter? He's the biggest cheerleader in the universe. When I think of him, he's the biggest planet in the solar system. And you guys know my theory that I haven't seen any other astrologer write about. But in my experience, personalities make up, your Jupiter sign makes up so much of your personality, right? I'm a Sag, but my Jupiter is at 29 degrees Taurus. I'm literally wearing a skirt with lemons on it. I have 2 snoring pugs sitting on orthopedic beds next to me. I've got a chocolate peanut butter smoothie next to me, lots of green plants. I mean, I'm definitely a Sag in a sense, but if you were to see me from across the ranch, you'd be like, that is the most Taurian woman I have ever seen. There's so much about me. And yes, I stick with things too long. That's a huge Taurus trait. Endurance. I got that too. But Jupiter being the biggest planet in the solar system, I don't know, just doing basic math, I thought maybe it makes up most of our personality. Just a theory. This is not proven. There's nothing in ancient astrology that would say this. But he's Mr. Big, biggest cheerleader in the universe. Jupiter walks into your life and says, okay, what do you want? And you're like, I don't know. Just a Zodiac Airbnb so I can invite some of my listeners to my ranch. Okay, but what if we can make it even better? Okay, like how? 12. And I'm like, oh, 12. Yeah, that was the plan. And then Jupiter goes, okay, wait, no, we're playing too small. What if you had multiple different locations all over the country, maybe even all over the world? Think big. Go to Costa Rica. What about Mexico? Yeah, Mexico, Tulum. And you have locations with 12 Zodiac Airbnbs in each one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a Taurus Jupiter. That's a little too much work for me. I need time to relax, and that's a lot to run. And Jupiter's like, you're thinking too small. It expands whatever it touches. If there's joy, Jupiter makes it bigger. If there's opportunity, Jupiter opens more doors. If there's wisdom to learn, because he's also the planet that represents our beliefs, wisdom, higher education, Jupiter will send you a teacher. Have you guys ever met someone who is, excuse my language, a royal piece of shit? And just awful. And in the moment you can't see it, but then in hindsight you're like, I appreciate those people because they were my teacher. They taught me so much. That could be Jupiter. And that's where I want to get at with Jupiter. What I was saying earlier is I don't want to just make this episode like your life's about to be amazing. And then something awful happens and you're like, God, astrology is so stupid. I don't want to give it that reputation. Jupiter makes things big. And sometimes it could be too big and too much. And you're like, oh my gosh, turn the temperature down. Turn it down. Have you guys ever gone through things in life where you were like, who has my voodoo doll and is poking it with 12 needles because enough? Like, my dog's sick, gotta go to the vet. Brakes on my car, completely worn off, gotta go purchase that. Oh, now the check engine light is on. Oh my gosh, my grandma just found it on the stairs and broke her hip and I need to go see them and help take care of them. Great. Oh my gosh, my kids are now acting up at school and I forgot to pick them up at school. And you're like, can someone turn down the temperature, please? Can someone just relax things? You might be having a Jupiter transit, right? Where all the astrologers will say, this is an amazing abundance. And you're like, no, there's an abundance of migraines in my life, but not money or joy. This is a little too much. But then those times, those chapters that are always so busy, you reflect back on in hindsight and say they were the most joyful of my life. I had people, I had community, I had people that needed me, that called me when they were hurt or when they were sick. I had kids that were so wild, and my house was consistently a mess, but it looked lived in, and like they had a good time. I miss those chapters. In hindsight, they taught me so much about myself that I can just let go and have fun and not worry about sweeping the floor every 2 minutes. That's Jupiter's lesson. If you've been playing too small, Jupiter in Leo is going to whisper, hey, why are you hiding? Why are you hiding what you love? Jupiter doesn't create things out of thin air. It shines a giant spotlight on whatever already has potential. So again, that is, if you've secretly wanted to be, why does this keep popping up? Sorry, guys. If you've secretly wanted to be a YouTuber or a podcaster, but you've been waiting for the right time, and you're like, oh, I got to get this right, that right. Jupiter and Leo may be the time you go viral. And you're like, God, I knew it. I don't know what took me so long, but who cares? This is exciting. Let's go. And it shines a giant spotlight on whatever already has potential. If you are in a relationship that you know is wrong, it's going to shine a light on the potential of it going really wrong. And that's where the definitions of Jupiter transits are like, I thought this was supposed to be a blessing. I thought me and my partner were supposed to kiss and make up and wake up on a random Tuesday and everything's good. But instead it got even worse. That is Jupiter. Okay? He's Mr. Big, Mr. Belief System, right? How do we develop our belief systems? Through our experiences. Oh, I'm from South America, but I went to the USA. I was terrified because everything I've heard on the news was that place is guns and giant pizzas and terrifying. But I went there and the food was actually amazing. And I didn't see a single gun. And everybody there was so nice. That completely changed my belief system. That's why Jupiter, Sagittarius, interchangeable. That's why it rules higher education, but also international travel. Because when you go have a different experience, you very quickly realize, oh my gosh, my experience of this from a distance was this, which made my belief that. And then I go meet someone. Belief systems, Republican, Democrat. Everything I see on the news is that Republicans, conservatives are bleh. Or everything I see on the news is liberals are crazy. And then if you sit at a concert that you both love and you sing a song together and you're drinking and having a good time and you like, hey, you're so fun. You want to hang out later? And you're like, wait, who do you vote for? Wait, you're a liberal? Wait, you're a conservative? You cried when Charlie Kirk died? Oh, wait. I like you, though. This just... now my experience with you changed my entire belief systems about liberals. Well, my experience with you changed my beliefs about how I view conservative people. Whoa. That is Jupiter. Now, what is Leo? The sign Leo, the fire sign that rules the sun, the lion. It is a fixed fire sign. So I always tell you guys, leave your Taurus friends alone. Yes, they're stubborn, but all the fixed signs share that trait. Taurus just gets it because they don't care. They won't hide it. All the other signs, you'll eventually bump into it, but not initially. Leo is the sign that shines, whether it's external or internally, because I get a lot of Leo placements who say, I am an introvert all the way. And this is where I say, you got to look at the housing placements. A Leo sun that sits in the 4th house, the very bottom of the wheel, the chart, very internal. They shine at home, but not so much outside on a stage. Leo sun in the 10th house, or maybe even the 1st house, those are the classic Leo traits. Leo is the sign that deep down remembers they were born to shine. Imagine a little kid putting on a superhero cape. Nobody goes and tells them, you look stupid, you look silly, take that off. No one tells them, you're not good enough to be a superhero. We don't do that around here. They just dance and sang and created and pretended that they were going to save the world and had the absolute time of their life, feeling truly like they were going to save the world. Think about how many of us, when we're young, put on pop concerts in our room with our hairbrush in front of the mirror, and we genuinely, for a split second, believe that we are on stage and everybody is giving us a standing ovation. That's Leo energy. It teaches us to express ourselves, have fun, create, lead, love boldly, celebrate life. Leo's not trying to be famous. Some of them are. Leo is trying to be authentic. I love this. I want to express this because I love it. I don't care what people think. I love this so much. I always tell you guys, because you're so sweet. You guys will say, please don't ever stop doing the podcast. I need this. I wait for the next one. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I won't. I truly won't. I always think about my future and what's next and what do I want to do. I don't know if I'll always give readings. They are time consuming and I don't know what my life will look like. I want to balance things to where if you guys are on the property, I want to be able to see you, which would involve I can't be on my Zoom calls in my office. You know what I mean? So I think about those things. But one thing that I'm always like, that stays, that remains, is this right here. One day you will not hear pugs snoring in the back. Oh, we're not going to go there. You guys tell me not to do that. I'm not doing it. Things will change. Things will get different. But this podcast is staying. And I think that it's because I feel most myself on this expression. I love adding the intro song, the outro song. I love mixing it. I love posting it. I love that it makes you guys feel good, like you've got a friend on the airwaves. This is my Leo. This is my expression, and I will always get on stage and do it because it feels so good. I don't know about you guys, but like I remember in school when you had to give presentations in front of the class, I was weird because I was more extroverted, I would say. But when it came to getting in front of the class, like I was always the person that would raise their hand and read out of the book, or I would raise my hand and answer the question. I feel lucky that school came easy to me. But when it came like, okay, you have to present a presentation on the whale shark that lives in Alaska, I was like, oh God, okay. Let me go do research. Let me compile something. Let me add music because I want people to feel a vibe. But I hated it. I would get so embarrassed. I would get red. I would blush. And I was like, what is this? Like, but I think it was because I was literally forcing myself to go on stage and present something I had absolutely zero interest in. Couldn't force myself if I tried. But if I had to go in front of people and present something I love, I would do it in my pajamas. They always say, pretend like everyone's naked. I don't need to do that. I'd get up there naked and be like, but have you heard of Saturn? What about Venus? I love it. I love sharing things. And so I feel like that's what Leo's energy is are you performing something because you think it's what you have to do to get the applause of people? Or are you living a life that you just absolutely love so you don't care about the drama from people? I think a huge lesson, internal, private, individual lesson of Jupiter and Leo is going to be, there's going to be drama absolutely everywhere you go with anything you do. You guys can sense and feel how much I love this. Go look at my reviews. There, you'll find some. I'm very lucky that I get nice people, but you'll find some. Pisses people off that I'm very expressive, that I don't present things in a way that makes them feel safe. There's drama. There's drama everywhere you go. You're going to mess up. You're a sloppy human just like the rest of us. And I got to the realization that when I was working a corporate job with something, I don't even remember what. I'm so past that. But there was drama and there were people getting mad at me and I'm just spicy today, being a bitch to me. Jupiter's in Leo, I can cuss, right? I should probably put a warning at the beginning of this. Do not listen with your kids in the car. They were just awful. And I remember thinking, holy heck, I don't care about this at all. And I'm dealing with this SHIT. No. If I'm going to deal with drama from these people, these dramatic Leo humans, it better be over something I love. That's when I'll fight for it. That's when it doesn't hurt because I genuinely love what I'm doing. And so I'm willing to fight for it and protect it. Are you guys OGs? Any of you listening to this OGs to Lightworkers Lounge and Instagram days when I would post 3 times a day, every day, 7 days a week, even on holidays? Man, I got lots of drama, lots of things thrown at me, and I would fight. I would FaceTime them, call them, say, let's talk, come on my podcast, actually, and talk to me here. Don't slide into my DMs. Don't leave shit in my comments. Like, let's record an episode together. And talk. You know who did? Nobody, baby. Not a single person that had shit to say to me in my reviews, in my nothing. And I was like, I'm not trying. I mean, yeah, I'm being a little sassy, but if you want to be sassy to me, I'm going to be sassy back. And if you want to really say it, come on my platform. We don't bite here. Some of us do. But it's fine. Like, let's talk about it. I thought it would make such great content. A hater online comes on my podcast. Make the clickbait photo like us with our faces scrunched against each other. Like, "Rrr." And then at the end, we're friends. I could almost guarantee that by the end of an hour-long conversation with someone that was just dramatic towards me and my art and my expression, that we would be friends. We would be cool. And so I wanted to show that. I wanted to showcase that. But for some reason, the people who are very brave behind an iPhone or an Android are not so brave when it comes to, like, let's look at each other in the eyeballs and talk. I don't know. Could there be a connection? Probably. Leo season. Jupiter in Leo is not trying to be famous or get seen, right? When people leave those comments, they're always like, I want to be seen. I want people to go, yeah, me too. What she said. Finally. Leo's trying to be authentic. So what happens when Jupiter moves into Leo? Now picture that little kid in the superhero cape. Someone hands them an even bigger stage. Someone says, do you want to go to Hollywood and like be on stage and act out in the latest Batman or Superman movie? And they're like, what? Really? Like, yeah, you're a kid, so you can just be an extra in the background. But yeah, you can act side by side next to your role model there. A brighter spotlight, a microphone, a camera, the Hollywood side. And when that kid gets on stage, the adults go show the world who you are. Go show them you're the superhero. Imagine, even if that kid doesn't go on to become a world famous actor, imagine what that core memory does of people seeing them. Show us who you are. Celebrating them. That's Jupiter in Leo. So this transit asks, what gifts, what things that you love have you been hiding? What talents, what things have you been just waiting to put out there? Because it's time to share them. So the lesson of Jupiter in Leo is, for the past year, Jupiter in Cancer taught us, I need to feel safe. Now Jupiter in Leo says, well, I need to be seen. Cancer filled your cup, made you feel safe at home. Leo asks you to pour it out into the world. Cancer nurtured your heart. Leo wants you to express it. Cancer season healed the inner child, but now Leo, Jupiter, said, let that inner child come out and play. During Jupiter in Leo, what's some real world things that could happen? You finally start the Substack, blog, social media account, TikTok. We were literally thinking, me and Mr. Virgo, because we're just two goofballs, mutable signs, I was going to start a TikTok, gasp, where I just post, so we rented that water slide that you guys were cracking up over my story on. We rented another one. We had to stop. I know. Listen, we loved it so much that we had to get a bigger one. So core memories were made. We don't care. It was so much fun. And yes, I was much, much more cautious on this one. So there's just some really big bruises around my legs, but my fingers are all fine. So during Jupiter and Leo, people may start something. People may express themselves, start a podcast, start a blog, write the book, send out the music, record the music, write the poem. Just art. Sometimes, because Leo does rule fashion, expressing yourself through that, you may see people want to wear more colors, bright colors that they've always been afraid to wear, or maybe tighter clothes, maybe baggier, looser clothes. You can just see people expressing themselves through fashion, like, this is just who I am. That's who I am. Launch the business, perform on stage, get on stage and speak in front of people, take acting classes. And of course, Leo is romance. And so for my single people who have given up on the dating apps, I'm biased. I don't prefer dating apps. If they vibe with you, if they feel right to you, stay on them. But the chances of you meeting someone organically without technology during Jupiter and Leo is chef's kiss. Hi. Especially if you're doing something for fun that you love, you're dancing like no one's watching, and then all of a sudden there's someone looking at you, you make eye contact with them, and it's like, let's have fun together. Fertility breakthroughs. Leo is the sign of the child, the pregnancy, the fertility. If you've been trying to conceive for a while, beautiful support from Jupiter. If you have children in your life that you would like to change things up with, Jupiter gives you support. If you would like to work with children or work with fertility and pregnancy, this is a beautiful time to switch into that. So a lot of people could fall in love, become parents, get pregnant, travel somewhere exciting, dance more, laugh louder, create art. I really can't wait to see what some of my favorite musical artists come out with. But overall, We just stop apologizing for taking up space. The collective mood often becomes more expressive, theatrical, generous, playful, overall just exciting. We're all coming out saying, you know what, screw it. Let's just get into the streets and dance. Why protest? Let's just go into the streets and dance and say, ha ha, you can't divide us. It's not working. I don't believe you. Turn the music up. Okay, that was fun. But let's talk about the shadow side. Because every sign, every transit has a shadow. I want you guys to remember that, because I know the University of the Internet of AI, it can point out, especially old books, like with all due respect to those that came before me. Whenever I read, and I'm looking over here at these massive bookshelves of astrology books, I should add up how much money I've spent on astrology books. I would probably vomit. But I see these books, and they're old. Some of them are like written in the 90s, early 2000s. And they're written by people who are twice my age. And I love that. I respect that. I am 100% elders need to be respected and listened to. But when I read some of these things, I think one of them I read, it was written by a male astrologer. And I was like, this is the most sexist thing I've like, I get it on one hand, but on the other hand, I was like, oh my gosh, you can definitely tell this was written by a man. Some of it is very pessimistic leaning, and I'm not faulting them. I'm not saying they're wrong. There's nothing about what they wrote that was wrong. It's amazing advice, and I cherry-picked what felt right and put it into my own vault. But it leans more towards the fearful side. And that was, guys, remember our generational episodes? Go back and look at those. I took into account, like, wait, this person was born during the Pluto and Virgo generation. Of course they're going to nitpick and be hypercritical and say this and say that. Oh, this person was born during the Uranus and Libra generation. So, of course, they're going to be very sexist or, on that side. But what I was saying is the shadow side of a really good transit exists. Like Jupiter in Leo gets a gold star for being woohoo, dancing, singing, fun, happy, romance, sex, joy. But it has a shadow side, like everything does. And what I'm getting at here is that even transits that you look at, like, I don't know, Pluto conjunct moon transit, or Pluto square moon, or squares or oppositions, the first definition of those is going to be more on the pessimistic, difficult side, but they have a good side too. So if an amazing transit has a shadow side, then a shadowy transit, ooh, what's going to happen? Saturn's on my moon, has a good side too. And this is where I always arm you guys with the knowledge of astrology is a weather forecast. It is not something that controls you. You control how you react. You control I saw that the weather was going to rain this month, and I was a little worried about it because rain is... But I bought umbrellas. I got hand warmers. And so, yep, it's going to continue to rain. Saw this coming. Yep, there's drama around me. That astrologer told me when my progressed moon goes into the fifth house, things get hot. Here they are. But you know what? I brought a fire extinguisher. And you know what? I know what I love because Jupiter and Leo taught me that. So I'm just going to focus on every day doing something I love because that buffers my reaction, my emotional reaction to the fires these dramatic people are trying to start in my life. Every sign has a shadow. Every transit has a shadow. Jupiter expands everything, even the unhealthy stuff. So Jupiter and Leo can also become ego instead of confidence. Are we thinking about the same person? We're thinking about the same person, right? Are we thinking the same thing? Pride instead of humility. And by the way, I was talking about Donald Trump, which I did not vote for Trump. I want to get that very clear because I have to accept it, but it still drives me bananas sometimes that because I shared the podcast episode saying I grieved when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, murdered, and I saw it, all of a sudden I was a bigot, I was sexist, I was racist, I was homophobic. It was wild. I was like, wow, look at all these things I'm being labeled. I had a bunch of readings canceled, and I was like, this is interesting. Wow. But I liked it. I liked that. Every reading I saw get canceled. Every email I had to read one line of and go delete. Like, no time for that. I was like, nice. This is trimming the fat. This is pulling the weeds. Now my audience, I felt so much better about a month or two after that, because I was like, oh, the people still listening are OGs. They're people who know that I'm not perfect. There are people who know that none of us are, and they still rock with me, and I love that. So I share that because I was thinking of Donald Trump, because he is a Leo rising. And what does everyone say about him? The dude's got a big ego. He's got a big ego. Beyonce, my twin Scorpio moon. And I think Jupiter moving into his first house, and I'm pretty sure Uranus is about to hit his sun. He's a Sagittarius moon. I mean, that's all you need to know about when you watch him and he says things that make you go, he's got a Sagittarius moon. What do you expect? He's a Gemini, Sagittarius. Like, it's just his chart. People got mad at me for saying that too. Attention seeking instead of authentic expression. Drama, getting mad instead of like, okay, you're right. Let's be honest here. You're right. I'm not going to overreact. Spending money just to impress people. That is a shadow side of Leo, which is, let me buy the Corvette because then people, when I roll by, people are like, I'm cool. Are you buying it because you're actually a fan of that make and model? Or are you buying it because you portray an image of, I look cool? Thinking louder means being wiser. No. The loudest voice in the room is often the dumbest. What is that quote? Someone said that? That's Jupiter and Leo of what to watch out for. So with Jupiter and Leo, the goal is not to become the flashiest, most beautiful, loudest person in the room. The goal is to become the most authentic. I know you guys know, like, the type of people I'm talking about. People who just love what they do. Oh, the most beautiful people in the world, male and female, are not the ones with the juiciest lips, not the ones with the most toned abs. The most beautiful people in the world are the people who carry themselves with confidence, who are like, I don't care what I'm wearing. I don't care how I got a pimple on my face. I'm not putting a sticker on to cover it. I am me. It doesn't matter what my shell looks like. I am me. Like, those people are sexy. They are confident. You know what I'm talking about, right? Beautiful people. And it's just their aura, their energy of, I love me. I do things I love. I express exactly who I am. I have no secrets. Secrets make you look sick. And they just share it and express it, and they carry that. And so they don't have to use like any makeup or lots of grooming done to them, although grooming is important. They just have that vibe. So a simple way to use Jupiter's transit through Leo is every morning ask yourself this. What would I do today if I wasn't afraid of being judged? If I wasn't afraid, whenever you guys come to me for advice on how to start a podcast, I say, guys, you're overthinking it. Post and ghost, baby. Post and ghost. People do not want curated, perfect. Ask me how I know. You guys hear my pug in every episode. We have tens of thousands, almost hundreds of thousands of people listening to this podcast, which you would think, man, she should get like an insulated studio. These doors stay open. You are going to hear construction because I like wind. I like openness, feng shui. My pug is my life. He is my world. Come on. Loyalty. I'm a Scorpio moon. I want loyalty unconditionally. An animal is the only thing that'll give you that. So he's going with me where I go. Okay? If and when I host a retreat, he's there. Sorry, guys. If you're allergic to dogs, I'm sorry. I will offer you Allegra or you just can't come because he's my dude. What would I do today if I wasn't afraid of being judged? Post the podcast. Don't edit anything out. Just be you. Be your most authentic self. People can feel that. They feel the joy. People can feel the vibe, the underbelly of if you are performing and reading from a script because you think if I'm perfect, nobody can judge me. Versus if you are just going off the cuff talking about something you love and you're lit up. You guys know what I'm talking about? How boring are meetings or presentations of people that you're like, ooh, they are just doing this to do it. They don't have any passion. They don't have any purpose behind what they're talking about. It's so boring. And you just want to grab them and be like, let's get out of here. Let's just go to a water park and go down water slides and just, let's go do something fun. That's Jupiter and Leo. It's going to reward courage. That is such a Leo word, not perfection. Save it for Virgo next. Courage. Imagine your life as a Broadway theater. For the past year, during Jupiter in Cancer, you've been backstage. healing, practicing your lines, changing costumes to see which one fits the most authentic version of you that you feel confident in your body. Now, the curtain rises. And then that person with the headset and the clipboard is like, come on, let's go. It's your time. Get on stage. The spotlight turns on. The audience goes quiet. The claps slowly start. And Jupiter in Leo looks back at you, smiles, and says, it's your time, baby. Don't waste your grand entrance. I also think that this transit fits so beautifully into the larger cosmic story happening right now. It's like Saturn and Neptune and Aries are teaching us to exist. Be a warrior for your individuality. Taurus and Chiron's, it says 0 degrees Taurus, but it's eventually going to get settled into that. But the Uranus and Taurus transit we just had, it taught us to survive. It taught us what is important. What do we need versus what we want that make us feel whole? The Uranus and Gemini transit teaches us to learn, to expand our mind, that conversations can heal everything, stay open-minded and curious. And then Jupiter's transit through Cancer just taught us how to feel safe in our bodies, at home, in our biological families or chosen families. It taught us to feel safe emotionally. This Leo transit is the first one that asks us, now that you know who you are, how are you going to express that to the world? That's why Jupiter feels so at home here in Leo, because it gives us permission to live bigger, create projects or anything that's a little bolder, and let our light reach farther than it has before, at least in the last 14 years. I love to reflect back. If you're old enough listening to this, we've got a very wide array of listeners here. I love to reflect on the last time this transit happened, and that was July 16th, 2014 to August 11th, 2015. That means we're revisiting themes from about 12, 13 years ago. So think back to the summer of 2014 all the way through the summer of 2015. What was growing in your life? Where were you feeling more confident, creative, visible, or willing to take a chance? Oh, I'm having a moment live with you guys as I do. That was the summer I started my blog, Free Spirit Fun, which is like the grandmother redwood tree of all the little fairy trees around it that kicked this off. I know if you're new here, it looks like, wow, she's got lots of success. She puts out podcast episodes. That's got to be so easy. Why isn't it working for me? And that's so not the story. I constantly want to peel the curtain back for you guys because I don't want my success to disempower or make anyone feel inflated that they can't do this. I've been blogging since the summer of 2014, and it has just morphed. It's just gone through stages and morphed into something new. To, gosh, what are we at? 12, 13 years later, it is my full-time career, and I make a very decent living for myself doing something I love, but it was not overnight. It was not without major, major sacrifice. My fertility and ability to become a parent, sacrificed. I still hope to one day, but the reality is I'm 37 years old. And instead of choosing to create life, I chose to create passion and art and my soul's purpose. I just wanted to pour everything into that. So, my journey's far from over, but it's still a pill I have to swallow routinely, which is I have to accept that those years were spent doing a passion project rather than creating a family or a child. So it's just so cool to reflect on this was the last time. And now I'm like, ooh, what's going to happen next? Maybe by the end of this transit, the Airbnbs will be up. So next summer is when you guys can start booking. Oh my gosh. Truth bumps. Jupiter is returning to that same chapter, but you're a much wiser version of yourself now. Remember that. A boom in personal branding and influencers. I swear that's going to be a huge thing. But also a boom in people going, oh my gosh, who was controlling the success of that influencer behind the scenes? Geez, or wow, that person is really like that behind the scenes? No, thank you. Big, bold entertainment, celebrity culture, lots of big announcements about celebrities, people feeling encouraged, inspired to share their talents. I'm just so excited for this transit. Now, as with any Leo placement on their high empowered side, this Jupiter in Leo transit is coming in with a bang. The month of July, its first month fully in the constellation of Leo. It's forming an opposition to Pluto. It's got a trine to both Neptune and Saturn. It's forming a sextile to Uranus and Gemini. At the end of July, let me fact check myself, July 29th, there's a full moon in Aquarius. And that is also the day that the sun will be conjunct Jupiter in Leo. So it's just magnifying a very potent day of energy whilst Pluto is up there in Aquarius. So it's coming in with a bang. It's definitely coming in with a bang. And I know I said reflect on the summer of 2014 and 15 with this, and there's definitely an undercurrent, a flavor of it. But back then, we did not have as much of the sky being supported and aspected by this transit as we do this time. So I'm going to do my best to break this down for you guys, just to give you a little preview of what it might mean individually, what it may mean collectively. And of course, we've got to start with the opposition, 180 degrees away, sister signs, opposing forces. I always liken oppositions to tug of war between two energies. I'm right. No, I'm right. You're wrong. No, you're wrong. Can we meet in the middle and all sing at a concert together at the World Cup? The opposition to Pluto will mostly be for the entire month of July because Pluto is still freshly into the first 5 degrees of Aquarius. And so, of course, Jupiter's ingress into Leo for the month of July will be the first 5 to 6 degrees of Leo, forming that opposition most of the entire month. So this is kind of one of the most defining stories of Jupiter's entire transit in Leo. Jupiter says, go bigger. Pluto says, but not until you transform. Not until you are permanently changed. So that's the entire transit in one sentence. But first, what does Jupiter in Leo want? You know, it wants the creativity, it wants the romance, it wants the children, it wants to be seen, it wants the joy in the heart. So Jupiter enters Leo saying, take up more space, stop hiding your light. But Pluto in Aquarius wants answers. It doesn't care about looking impressive. Pluto wants truth. Aquarius wants the truth of groups, technology, society, the collective, the future. So Pluto in Aquarius asks at the other side of this opposition, if you're going to become more powerful, famous, big, express yourself, why? What does that do for the collective? How does that benefit other people? Is it for your ego? Or is it because you're becoming who you're actually meant to be? That's where the tension comes in. So for the individual, this opposition may feel a huge urge to dream bigger, this internal push and pull. You'll specifically, come see me if you need any help, but you'll want to know what areas of life, what houses are ruled by Leo and Aquarius, because this is where you can most feel the, whoa, I really want to do this, but I really want to do that, but how can I blend the two to find balance between them? Stay tuned for the horoscope episode where I will go into that for all 12 zodiac signs. But this is where the tension comes in. Maybe you want to launch a business, but you really want to start a family. Maybe you want to become an influencer, but you really want to stay at home and be quiet and not film and write a book. Maybe you want to ask someone out on a date, but you don't know if you're ready for commitment because you're still healing things from the past. Jupiter says, yes, let's go, let's do it. Then Pluto immediately says, okay. But what fears are stopping you? If you get into a new relationship, are you just going to repeat patterns? If you become an influencer, are you really ready to handle the extreme criticism that will inevitably come without changing who you are, still expressing your heart, even if people are calling you these awful things? Suddenly, all the hidden stuff comes up. Fear of rejection, abandonment, fear of success, even imposter syndrome, fear of criticism, being visible, fear of, Pluto's favorite, losing control. It's almost like the universe says, I'll absolutely make your life bigger, but first, we got to clear out the basement. Now, collectively, this is where it gets interesting and where we're talking about July saying, whoa, guys, what is going to happen? The undercurrent of it is, I love that word today, undercurrent, is the opposition between Jupiter and Pluto. This could become a fascinating battle between the individual voice, the little guy, versus the big guy, the collective power or the collective giant force. Leo says every person has a unique voice and matters. Aquarius and Pluto says no one is bigger than the community. So we could see lots of conversations around celebrities and influencers. Of course, that's one thing. AI and the data centers we all have heard about. The inequality of wealth already coming up. Politics centered around personalities rather than people who are actually in it for the people. Who deserves attention? How much power should technology have over human creativity? Boom, right? Pluto in Aquarius is the AI robot that's here to change things. And Jupiter in Leo is, what about the person who worked their butt off to learn how to play an instrument and sing and perform in front of people? What about them? Are we really going to go to concerts that are put on by robots? Right? Who gets the microphone? Who gets the attention? The real artist or the AI artist? The small village or Washington, D.C.? Who gets it? And Pluto rarely lets someone keep it without exposing what they're doing with it, with the microphone, with the attention. So since Jupiter enlarges and Pluto intensifies, big scandals, big breakthroughs, big downfalls, or big wins. It's usually not a quiet transit. And I'm sure other astrologers you listen to or read from are going to talk about this heavily because it's dramatic. Leo is dramatic and Pluto is scary. So this opposition isn't trying to stunt your growth or scare you. It's trying to make sure your growth is authentic. Instead of becoming just a bigger version of your old self, Pluto wants you to become a truer version of your new self. That's why this opposition can be incredibly empowering if you're ready to face the really deep, dark shadow side, Pluto in Aquarius, and own it. Put it out there. Mr. Virgo used to say this quote that I absolutely love. He was like, admit everything you're ashamed of online, on the internet. That's why back when we were Lightworkers Lounge, he came on and said, I cheated on my wife. This is what I did. This is how I did it. Yep, I had 2 kids with her. It was a F-U-C-K fucked up move to do. But once he said that, of course, there were people like, I don't like him, Steph. Get away from him. He's got a bad vibe about him. I'm like, yeah, of course you do. He just admitted something awful, but are you pointing a dirty finger? Let me see your relationships before I take advice to you to get to a place that you've clearly never been. But it was beautiful. The way, I know him, David Goggins did this, I believe. There's just people who say, this is what I've done, this is who I am. Okay, now that you know that, what? What can you do? Get mad at me and decide not to listen to me? That's fine. There's many other people out there. I think that's this. That's this opposition. It's just own it. Because then you can say, but I grew from it. And I'm not that person anymore. I want to express my heart differently this time. It's so empowering. Jupiter in Leo wants you to shine brighter. Pluto in Aquarius wants you to make sure that light you're shining is real and not just for your own inner self, for the collective. Dream bigger, but don't skip the inner work that makes those dreams sustainable. How many times do we say, I'm so glad my dream didn't come true when I was this age because I wouldn't have been prepared to handle it. Like I was just telling you guys, I sacrificed motherhood in order to create my dream career. But the more I think about it, if I would have become a mother at 25 when my then husband really wanted to, was pushing for it hard, I'm not saying I would have been a bad mom. I always think that I would have, pulled my bootstraps up and made sure it worked. But mentally and emotionally, I would have been not. My child would have felt my energetic absence because I would have always been wondering, what if? And then maybe as soon as they got, on their feet, I would have immediately been like, boom, I'm busy. I got to go chase this. Like this longing to do this will always be there. And so, work the pieces around. So now we know that that's the opposition all of July. Welcome to Jupiter in Leo. Are you ready to go really big, permanently big? Now let's talk about the sextile, the opportunity. Sextiles are opportunities gifted from the universe, the cosmos, but you must take them. Otherwise, the door dissolves and it'll be like it was never there, or there may come with some grief or regret of, dang, I should have taken that opportunity. So Jupiter will form a sextile to Uranus in Gemini pretty much all of July and into August on top of this opposition. So let's break this down, make a sandwich. Jupiter, we know, I'm going to keep saying it. Jupiter, growth, opportunity, optimism, expansion. Leo, creativity, the confidence, the performance, the self-expression and leadership. Uranus, surprises, breakthroughs, innovation, rebellion, disruption to the status quo in order for people to be authentic. And then Gemini, communication, AI, media, technology, learning, information. That's the transit I told you, hey, your attention span is the greatest commodity right now. So a sextile is a supportive aspect. It's an opportunity. These planets are helping each other. So the desire to shine, Jupiter and Leo, gets a boost, an opportunity from unexpected opportunities. through innovations and fresh ideas. So for the individual, this sextile may feel like you're more willing to take wild risks that you wouldn't have in the past, back when Jupiter was in Leo, more comfortable being seen and sharing your voice on the internet, perhaps, ready to launch something, excited about learning something, signing up for school. Or this could be as simple as having a conversation with someone very close to you about what's really on your heart that can alter the relationship forever. This isn't the energy of carefully following a well-crafted plan. Sorry, Virgos. It's I just had an idea, let's try it. Or, I have had enough living this way, I need to say it. Right? Find your voice, then have the courage to use it. So, normally Jupiter says, let's grow. But Uranus says, okay, but let's do it differently. Everyone says the way to success is you graduate college, you get engaged, you get married, you buy a house, then you have a baby. But what if we didn't do that? What if we didn't go to college? And instead we went backpacking and we fell madly in love with a stranger who doesn't speak the same language as us and we had a baby. And it's amazing because we're just so connected. And then we travel with the baby and then we decide maybe we should buy a house sometime. Let's do things backwards. So together they create an opportunity to grow by bending the rules. The opportunities arriving under this sextile will probably not look familiar. But they can come through all those Uranus and Gemini themes: technology, social media, AI, unexpected introductions, and via networking opportunities, communities, neighbors, chance encounters. It's a very synchronistic. I love this stuff. So collectively, this sextile is where it gets fascinating. Leo rules entertainment, arts, media. Gemini rules, the media, the news stations. Uranus rules disruption. And Jupiter stands there throwing gasoline on the bonfire. Let's make it big. So collectively, we could see explosive growth in creators and influencers, new voices emerging seemingly overnight. I'm just trying to think, like, whatever could happen in July, maybe it inspires people to finally say something. Or someone is brave enough to say what we've all been thinking, and then we all just collectively crowd behind it and we're like, yep, we're going behind what that person said. Yeah, people nobody has heard of could become a household name very quickly. Major shifts in media, the way people consume information or who they take information from, they continue to change rapidly. Gosh, if you're still on TikTok, Instagram, all those things, I can just imagine. I really don't mess with it because it doesn't matter who you follow on that thing. You're not getting their content. And so by that, if I have to go on there and then search for the person I want to see, like, that's a chore. I'm just going to go absorb, use that time, my attention span, to just go find and source long form content. So we don't constantly have to go in a search bar and find something. Right? And I'm all about preserving my dopamine and my serotonin because I don't know if you know what it feels like to be hormonal in your 30s, but when you're on a good estrogen high, you really want to preserve it. But aside from that, dopamine, serotonin, those are my gold goose eggs. I want them to be mine. And I recognize if I eat ice cream or something processed filled with natural flavors, my brain is going to go, woohoo, I want more of that. Similarly, if I watch a TikTok or a YouTube short, my brain's going to go, that's amazing. I never thought of making quesadillas that way. What's the next video say? And then the next thing I know, I'm wondering if I have ADHD because doing things slow and finishing them feels uncomfortable. My brain goes, no, I want that quick hit. That was easy. That was good. Nah, not me. Breakthroughs involving AI and communication. Gemini loves the info. Uranus loves innovation. Jupiter says, haha, let's make it big. I fully expect headlines or whatever is about to occur in July involving the data centers, the AI, getting the message out through social media. Maybe education comes up now that it's summer break and people are processing. I already saw on Amazon that they have back to school stuff out. I'm like, what? Are they just going to put Christmas decorations out now? I mean, you might as well. Just keep everything out all the time. Have a Halloween section. Like, don't even make it. Like, ooh, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Starbucks, just put pumpkin spice lattes permanently on the menu. Who needs to wait anymore? We're all too impatient. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. I think it's so sad when they put Christmas stuff out in, September. I'm like, come on. It's supposed to be a special season. Celebrity stuff. Leo is the celebrity, the Hollywood star, Walk of Fame, Beverly Hills, blah, blah. Leo rules celebrities and royalty. Uranus brings shocks. Jupiter brings the big name publicity. This summer could feature surprising celebrity news or announcements or like career pivots. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? I'm thinking of the Epstein list. I don't know. I know that's that thing that's almost annoying to talk about at this point, but maybe that's what happens in July. Because if you piece all this together, celebrities on a dark, egotistical, I'm going to fly to a private island and partake in just demonic shit. Because I don't care. It's about me, me, me. That's very Jupiter and Leo on its absolute worst side, right? But then you think of Uranus, shocking news. And then I think of Gemini. It spreads fast. And then I think of Trump with his Leo rising, Jupiter about to go in there. I don't know. We'll see. A more playful collective mood. That would definitely fall into this. Now, the shadow side of the sextile, because every transit has one, we could see viral misinformation. People saying shocking things just for attention. The clickbait is so annoying. Reckless publicity stunts, dramatic online controversies. So the challenge with this could become just because something gets attention doesn't mean it deserves it. Just because someone goes viral does not mean they should. Jupiter and Leo, sextiling Uranus and Gemini, is the courage to try something you've never tried before, to say something you've never said before, especially if it's been on your heart for a long time. And discover through this process that the very thing that makes you different is exactly what opens the door to the entirety of this transit, which is beautiful self-expression. And it's bare minimum. Say you're listening to this and you're like, no, I don't want to be on the internet. I don't want to be famous. I'm not creative. What does this mean for me? It just means you're living from your heart. It means every day is not the best day, but you can find something in the day that was like, that was fun. That was cool. I like that. The next chapter isn't about fitting in. It's about standing out, but standing out because you're finally coming home to who you were as a child, what you loved to do before the world told you what you should be doing. Okay, the next one I want to go over super quick because I want to save it for the Leo new moon eclipse, but I had to share this one because I think this is a banner moment of the entire year-long transit of Jupiter and Leo. The Leo new moon eclipse at 9 degrees Leo on August 12th. Yep, August 12th. Leo total new moon eclipse. Total solar eclipse. At the same time, Jupiter will be conjuncted right around 9 degrees. So we're going to have a new moon eclipse in Leo, and Jupiter's going to be right there on top of it, magnifying it. Jupiter's expansion, new moon's a beginning. You put them together, and life says, let's make this dream bigger than you originally imagined. So individually, this new moon coming up in Leo, August 12th, eclipse, where are you ready to stop playing small? Plant a seed, and Jupiter's going to fertilize it unlike any fertilizer you ever fertilized with before. I'm terrible at that. But with Jupiter on top of a new moon seed, that seed doesn't just grow you a green bell pepper or a tomato for the season. That seed turns into an angel oak tree instead of a little cucumber. More optimism, more opportunity, generosity, growth, period. So again, around that time, it could just be a magnifying of everything we just spoke of. I really have my eye on that. And that's all I'm going to say. I want to save that for the episode so that you guys don't forget, because I know you're listening to it now at the tail end of June or early July. But that one really caught my eye. So now, September 29th, Mars moves into Leo. And so Mars is going to give us oomph on the entire story of the Jupiter and Leo transit for us. Now, Mars is also war, fighting, but it's courage. And this is going to be from September 29th through late November, like around November 26, 2026, this year. Mars will join forces with the Jupiter and Leo transit, creating one of the boldest, expressive combinations of the year. If Jupiter is the king, or like Gatsby, throwing the big party, Mars is the one climbing onto the stage with a microphone, yelling at people. This person's a pedophile. This person's wrong. Like, whoa, you are brave. Mars is the engine. It's how you take action. Leo wants shine. You put them together. Stop waiting for permission. If your heart wants it, fight for it. Period. Now you add Jupiter to that. Dream bigger, act bigger, fight harder for what you really love. I like this combination. I think this is a huge confidence boost during this time. More passion and romance, more luck in going after what you want in regards to fertility, children you already have, a creative project, putting it out there. I love it. Fantastic energy for people who have felt stuck or like tired of playing small. But every strength has a shadow. Mars can become combative and impulsive. And Jupiter says, you want to do that? Okay, let's throw ball. So super inflated egos, overconfidence, spending too much money on flashy things just to look good, not feel good. I'm right and everyone should know it. So, this could be like a massive sporting event too, because Mars rules athletics and sports. I am so out of touch with sports. It's not that I don't like them. I just can't get into it. Is there anything like, I feel like I really sound stupid. I know the Super Bowl here in America is in February, but is there anything between September 29th and November 26th? It's like a big, is it the Olympics? I genuinely don't know. But it could be because Mars is athletic events. But all I can think of is like public political feuds. Isn't there a voting time? Don't people vote around that time? Ooh, okay. My new prediction for that could be that that's like a voting season for something. This is how tapped out I am. I'm just like, aliens beat me up. Like, the only office I'm running for is in the Intergalactic Federation, where nobody mails in votes because you can read minds on who they really want to vote to. But I can see that definitely being a spicy time between big personalities. Okay, this is an important one. The trine to Saturn. Trine. 4 signs away are 2 planets in the same element. You've got Saturn in the fire sign of Aries. Jupiter will be in the fire sign of Leo. They are supportive. They're homies. Let's do this. I got your back. I'll lift you up. You lift me up. It's beautiful energy to that. And this is going to be, where did I write that down? August 15th. Of this year, all the way to September 22nd, especially for anyone born between August 29th and September 2nd, the trine will be to the exact 13th degree. So anyone born during August 29th, September 2nd, come see me for your solar return birthday chart, because it's likely to be a pretty cool year for you. But then we'll have the trine to Saturn again, March 8th, 2027, all the way through mid-April. But especially April 3rd to April 10th birthdays, please come see me, because you'll have your birthday on the day that Saturn and Jupiter have a perfect 17th degree trine. And again, Saturn and Jupiter will be helping each other out from July 6th, 2027, all the way to the end. Jupiter finishes its stay in Leo with continued Saturn trine, Saturn support, before moving into Virgo late July of next year. So this is, again, kind of like the opposition at the beginning of July. This one, I would say, is even more defining because it sticks around for the entirety. Even though Saturn will go retrograde, Jupiter will go retrograde, they'll both move direct, they still stay in this beautiful, supportive aspect to each other. So we'll have this in the horoscope episode, but wherever Aries is in your chart is being beautifully uplifted by Jupiter and Leo's transit. And similarly, wherever Leo is in your chart, the work you're doing, Saturn work, discipline you're practicing in the Aries part of your chart is usually very supportive for wherever Jupiter is trying to bless, right? Jupiter says, dream big. Saturn says, okay, but prove you're serious. Prove to me, through actions, not words, that you can handle this dream. Jupiter in Leo wants all those things. Create, be seen, lead, take risks. Saturn in Aries wants you to be brave, take responsibility through building independence, and grow stronger as an individual through effort. So a fire trine, because there are 2 fire signs between these two, says your biggest dreams are very possible right now, but only because you're willing to do the work. You're willing to say, nobody can save me. Nobody can fix this but me. It's enthusiasm with endurance. So individually, this trine is one of the best transits for finally taking your dreams seriously. People may finally decide, I'm leaving the relationship, or I'm asking them out. I'm launching the business, the book, the podcast, or I'm going back to school. I'm doing the thing. I'm finally becoming the person I've imagined and I've known in my heart I'm meant to be. And the beautiful thing is that Saturn will filter out fantasy. No Pisces here. Although, wait, we're going to get to Neptune. Jupiter gives vision. Saturn gives structure. Together, our biggest dreams finally have blueprints on how to actually make them come to life, right? So instead of saying, I'll just, the timing's not right. It's not yet. This trine that's going to happen during those seasons we just mentioned, people begin saying, okay, what's the first step? I'm ready, right? If you guys listened to my Saturn and Aries episode from last year, from February of this year, and thought, man, that sounds nice, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready for change. I just don't know. I don't see much change or movement. Here it comes. It's right here. Jupiter won't let you. Confidence becomes earned. You can't fake confidence. You can't fake liking something. I'm just thinking of the heart and what Leo loves to express. We can't fake it anymore. We can't fake a relationship, fake that we're okay with this job, fake that we're okay with our living situations. Saturn won't allow that. So this is going to be, I've practiced, I've prepared, I've thought about this, high and low, sun up to sundown. I'm taking action, right? Creativity, becoming a profession. I love this. Parents, if you have kids, because Leo is the kiddos, may especially feel this trine because Leo rules children. Saturn is the parent responsibility. So again, many people could decide to have children, welcome children. That's a very big initiation into Saturn legacy. Whoa, this is harder than it looked. Become step parents, grandparents, create blended families. That's one of the most difficult things. Of course, I watched this personally with my partner, but boy, this could be its own episode. I shouldn't take too much time on it. But that's one of the most difficult things is when you have children with someone and you shouldn't stay because it's not good for them, but then everyone around you is going to say, stay for the kids. And there are genuinely times where you should do everything you can too. But then there's genuinely times where just making sure that you're all sitting at the same dinner table every night is harming the child more, right? This is such a sensitive subject and so nuanced and bio-individual that I don't want to act like I know what's right for everyone. But I say all of this because Saturn in Aries has the person, the individual saying, I want to step out and start new. Jupiter in Leo could say, but there's some big energy around kids, involvement with there. So this could be people deciding to do blended families or making the tough decision to say, well, we're not going to live in the same household. Don't know what that's going to look like. But this transit and all of these aspects to it promise it will probably turn out beautiful. Beautiful big blended family, beautiful for everyone involved. Of course, there's always turbulence to such a large committed change in the beginning, but sometimes it's the absolute best thing for not only the children, but everyone involved, right? This isn't just what's the joy for the children, like what's best for the children. This is what is the commitment we promised of raising them to where they feel like they can express themselves comfortably. Kids can pick up energy. They don't get enough credit. They can pick up energy, vibes, so easy. And of course, they don't know how to put words to it, but they know. They don't know, but they know. Leadership changes. Ooh, I can totally see this being political. Leadership changes. Artists coming out. Big stuff. What else did I write for this? Like Jupiter in Leo has that big dream. Saturn in Aries says, let's make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's and have a savings account before we go after it. But together they remind us that the most enriched life, extraordinary life is not created by just one bold moment. It's created by little thousands of courageous, tiny, consistent ones, right? Both of these planets are in fire signs. Fire is inspiration, courage, the willingness to begin. Jupiter keeps that inner flame burning brightly because you just feel like your heart is connected to this. I know this is right because my heart feels so warm, while Saturn builds a fireplace, like a stone fireplace around it, so that fire doesn't burn out and you keep going even on days where you go, what have I done? Oh my God, I quit my job and I only have 30 days of savings. I guess I got to figure this out. This trine is, you do figure it out. That's what makes this trine feel so constructive. It doesn't just light a spark, it keeps that fire alive through all the monotonous, like, the astrologer told me to leave my marriage and this is hard. Ask me how I know. You keep going. You do one little step at a time. You believe in yourself. And at the end of the day, your heart has Jupiter on it. So when you follow what you love, I'm not saying it's going to be easy the entire time. I'm not going to say, a lot of people, guilty as charged, you leave something like a marriage and you're like, all right, I'm healed. I left. That was so hard and difficult, but I'm going to go get into another relationship and surely it's going to be the one. Surely it's going to be so easy because I did the hard, not realizing, oh, that's where the work begins, right? Surely if we have a baby, it'll make our relationship feel better. Now we know it actually just reveals what was already broken. Ugh, life. Why can't it always be a fantasy? A romantic fantasy. Can't everything just be perfect? Speaking of which, there's a trine to Neptune. Phew, Neptune, come in here and save our dreams. Neptune, the planet of dreamings. Right? So if Jupiter in Leo says, what lights you up? Neptune, dreaming in Aries, says, well, what dream is worth fighting for? Aries, we've got to use the word fighting. Together, this trine, supportive energy, is saying, be brave enough to chase the dream your heart keeps whispering about. I'm just repeating myself using different words at this point, right? You guys picking that up? Because I am. If you'll take the first courageous step, synchronicity, Neptune says, I'll meet you halfway. Leap in the net will appear. Big time. So, the dates for trining to Neptune, all of July. I know, I keep saying the month of July. Jupiter enters Leo, immediately trines Neptune, immediately trines Saturn, immediately conjuncts the sun under a full moon, immediately starts playing tug of war with it's like, how would I say this? Think about, I love using school analogies. Think about you're in class, and then you have to go to history class, but that teacher is so known to just be an asshole. They're mean. They call you out. So every time you go to history class, you're like, oh my God, I hate this class. Why did I get this teacher? And then all of a sudden, one Monday, there's a new kid in town. There's a new student. And he's big. He just has big energy. He's taller than the average kid. He wears a really bright neon orange jacket. He wears Pit Viper sunglasses. And he walks in and goes, what's up, everybody? And you're like, shh, oh my God, dude, you picked the wrong class to walk in like that. And the teacher says, sit down and mind your manners. And he goes, why? And everyone goes quiet. And they're like, oh my God, is he yelling at Mr. Smith? He's going to get detention. Oh. But then you watch him confidently stand up for himself against this big bad teacher you were always intimidated by. And then through the process of witnessing this, seeing someone who's supposed to be the student become brave and bold and stand up for themselves in the class against the person who is abusing their power and used to reigning supreme over the collective classroom, find balance, all of a sudden you're like, hey, maybe I'll speak up and share how I feel. Maybe I'll say something to this mean, bad teacher. So that's kind of the energy, my best analogy of the opposition to Pluto for the month of July, from Jupiter and Leo going up to Pluto and Aquarius. So the trine to Neptune is all of July, especially July 19th to July 23rd. It's going to be to the 4th degree. If you remember our July 2026 astrology forecast, we talked about that week around July 19th to July 23rd. We have this beautiful Barbeau's basket. That's not what he called it, by the way. That's just what it's kind of being called going around the internet, where we have Neptune at 4 degrees Aries, Jupiter at 4 degrees Leo, Uranus at 4 degrees Gemini, and I believe it was Pluto at 4 degrees Aquarius, at 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Wild time. All the way into August will there be this trine to Neptune, and then that's it. Then they'll separate. So that makes the ingress, the initial transit into Leo, especially important because this trine, this support from dreamy Neptune will eventually dissolve probably after eclipse season, mid to late August. So what this could manifest as individually, this support from Neptune, dreams, fantasy, what else does Neptune represent? The soul, the heart, the feeling like I need to find purpose in life, right? When there's a trine from Neptune and Aries, Into Jupiter and Leo, this is feeling inspired after years of feeling stuck, especially in the Leo house of your chart. Wanting to pursue truly something creative. Neptune is the poet, the singer-songwriter, the person that just wants to write about their pain or their fantasies, that has relationships and it just finds muse in everything. This could become more, people could become more spiritual or intuitive under this trine, feeling drawn more than usual towards music, film, photography, art, writing, or healing work. That's Neptune, healing work. And overall, the softest way to express this trine is believing in yourself again. Although I will say Neptune is the planet of my dreams, the symbols in my dreams, the uncanny synchronicities. Those things could be turned up for the entirety of July and August, or just simply a feeling that life has meaning again. It's almost like we're all in this limbo of like, what do we do? I feel stuck. I can tell that so many things need changed, but there's so many that I don't even know where to begin. And then Uranus and Gemini is just throwing so much information, so many things my way that I just don't even know where to begin. The trine to Neptune and Aries could be that final burst, the bubble popping, right? This is the return of hope, right? Leo rules the heart. Neptune rules unconditional love, acceptance. This trine can remind people that success isn't only about themselves, about money or status. It's about creating something that comes from the soul. So collectively, on a more world scale level, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see movies, music, entertainment, like staple things. We were just talking about this the other night. Like, there's no more. Do you guys remember, if you're around the 80s, 90s, born when I was, when a new movie would come out, it was like a celebration. It was something you looked forward to. Like, it's going to be in theaters Friday, July 17th. I can't wait. And it was, I think of Titanic. I think of The Hangover. I think of Lion King, all these movies that just stand the Notebook, that stand the test of time. I really can't think of anything besides Avatar, but even that started many, many, many years ago already. I can't think of anything lately that has stood the test of been a classic like that. Well, I think that that's about to change with all of these, right? Really inspirational leaders, political, spiritual, religious, may emerge. Charitable nonprofits could gain a lot of momentum if that's something you do. More conversations around religion, spirituality, and just purpose. So could the aliens come down and tell us that all of our spiritual and religious beliefs are wrong? Yeah, maybe. And I'm serious. Scientific or medical breakthroughs inspired by imagination as much as logic. Ooh. I would love for this to be, and it probably will be, the cornerstone of where astrology starts getting more respect from the scientific community. And maybe astrologers could incorporate more science, like more ways to make it a studied, measured science. Neptune dissolves boundaries. Jupiter expands. Leo broadcasts. Collectively, people may become hungry for stories that inspire them, inspire us to come together unconditionally rather than divide us. Like, we're over it. This trine to Neptune reminds me of, like, if there's any false flags coming out, so to say, we could just get to a point where we're like, no, dude, not falling for it. Over it. Like, I see that this viral news thing wants to divide us by race, not falling for it. We love our neighbors. Try again. I see that this wants to really try and separate us, not falling for it. Try again. We're all carpooling to the World Cup next week, so try again. Shadow side of this, because everything comes with a side of caution. Don't confuse inspiration with reality. Neptune can make everything look magical, whimsical. Jupiter makes everything feel bigger. This combination can produce over-promising, under-delivering, falling for unrealistic gurus, leaders, escapism, spending money on your dreams without a plan. So it's wonderful to believe. There's support to believe. Just remember to verify. So, the universe opens the door with this trine, but you still have to walk through it. I use this example a lot, but it holds more weight for this, probably more than ever. Don't ask for a sign, then ignore it. Don't say, show me an elephant, And then when you see a Mack truck drive by with an elephant on the side, go, okay, but that's just coincidence. One time I asked like something so weird on clarity, and it was to make a major life decision. So I was like, ooh, I got to be specific. I can't just say zebra. Like, that's a rare animal where I live, but, zebra. So I was like, show me a can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup, like the old school one. I'll be damned if I did not see an image of the old school red and white silver rimmed Campbell's chicken noodle soup. Like, you can't make this up. Well, what is this? Is this the Matrix? We have it every weekend, the conversation of why are we getting these advertisements? We notice when we have the boys on the weekend, they are watching YouTube and they get specific advertisements that are totally different. And I'm like, okay, they are not on social media. They don't have debit or credit cards. How do you explain that? Why? Is it because of the things they're watching, the subject? So they assume that, okay, if we have 2.1 million views on this person's YouTube, well, the vast majority of their audience is of this age group. And is that what they do? Still weird to me. Don't like it. So we have, in the entire month of July, this like rare combination of vision, Neptune, courage, Leo and Aries placements, and opportunity with Jupiter. July is a reminder that the biggest leaps often begin with the willingness to imagine a different future before anyone else around you can see it, even yourself. To imagine a different, better future before you know the exact steps and process to take to get there, but just taking one step is how I would summarize all of this. So we will feel Jupiter's movement into Leo for the month of July coming in hot, just like a mojito. And then it'll have the trine to Saturn, August to September, and then March until April, and then again wrapping up its stay in July of next year. The trine to Neptune, all of July, into eclipse season, magical eclipse season. Can you believe that's next month? Mars is going to come into this sign and say, let's bring the spice, let's bring the fight and the courage. You need some? The sextile to Uranus and Gemini all of July into August. The opposition to Pluto all of July. Conjunct a new moon eclipse. Like, come on. This is a Jupiter transit on steroids. I love saying that word, steroids. Guys, that's all I got for you. Putting my notebook up. I'm going to go on the ranch and do some work in the Zodiac garden beds. But to all of my Leos, happy Jupiter. Coming to say hello to you guys. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Leo placements. All the fixed signs. So there'll be squares to Taurus placements, Scorpio placements. Squares are friends. Squares are extra oomph to say, enough is enough. Let's get moving. I love squares. Aquarius placements. You already got Pluto hanging out with you, but now you'll have an opposition from Jupiter that says, all right, don't sleep on this. Let's go. Come on. Pull you out of your shell. Be sure to tune into the horoscopes episode where everybody will get a personalized description of what Jupiter's movement into Leo may mean for you, what area of life you are just winning the lottery this year and into summer of next year or July of next year for all of us listening, and what to watch out for, what it might expand in your personal chart. We will incorporate the sextiles and the trines and all this fun stuff into that. That's going to take me a while to record, so I'm going to try my bestest to get it out before we take off for 4th of July for America's 250th birthday. Happy birthday to all of my fellow Americans. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm speechless now. I've said it all. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Astrology Lounge. I hope to see you again on the next one. Be sure to subscribe and get notifications whenever new episodes drop. Sending so much love from Twin Moon Ranch outside of beautiful Austin, Texas. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.